Hi, this is Lee Kaufman from the Marriage Recovery Center. I'm a coach at MRC. I've been working with people for the last 3 years. But prior to that, I was also a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher for the 15 years before MRC. So I know a thing or two about being present and how important being present can be in our everyday lives. The catchphrase that gets thrown around a lot these days is mindful and mindfulness. And I think there's a lot to be had by being mindful, and I think the way that it can help our relationships is extraordinary. So why don't we go back a little bit in time and explore what the actual word mindful or mindfulness means, and then we can see how it may apply to our lives and our relationships. The Japanese kanji symbol on the screen right now is a great way of describing what the origin of that word is. You can see at the top, you've got the symbol for shelter or presence, and you can see at the bottom, heart. And so being sheltered in the heart or present in the heart is really what mindfulness is all about. Why would we want to be mindful? You probably are thinking. Well, first, it's really good for our health. Being mindful is good for our blood pressure, our nervous system, we sleep better. We also react better when things happen that are challenging. And so mindfulness seems to be a practice that would add a lot of value to our lives. But I think I want to share more potently what mindfulness looks like in practice by way of a story which has come to be known as the cockroach theory. And it's told by Sundar Pichai, Google's current CEO. So the cockroach theory, he's sitting in a restaurant one day, a true story. He looks over at the table next to him and a cockroach lands on the shirt of one of the people. And of course, they get flustered and they push the cockroach away, and it lands on the person next to them, and they do the same thing until the cockroach flies and lands on the waiter's shirt as he walks by. The waiter, unlike the people at the table, wasn't flustered at all, calmly waited for the cockroach to settle down, took the cockroach in his hands, walked over to the door and released it back into nature. And that got Pichai thinking about whether or not the cockroach was the problem or whether the reactivity to the cockroach was the problem, hence the cockroach theory. And he began to extrapolate that out. When we're in traffic or at home, triggered by our families and kids and dog and cats, whether it's their actions that cause us to be upset and reactive, or whether it's our interpretation and how we respond that causes the real dilemma. So this encapsulates mindfulness in a perfect little ball, which is we control our interpretation of what happens, and therefore the outside world may not have as strong of an influence on us as we think. And so once we're able to understand that better, rather than being reactive, we take enough time to be calm and centered, just like the waiter in the story, and to respond thoughtfully, empathetically, and compassionately in the moment. Another way of describing mindfulness is that our body can only exist in the present moment, in time, but our mind can trip to the past or the future really easily. Our actual experience, though, of being a human and having this lived life is only in the present moment. So this idea of mindfulness is trying to pull the head and the mind back into the body so that we're unified and having a singular experience. We could talk about it all day long. Mindfulness is a fascinating subject. But in truth, the potency of the practice is in the practice. And so today we're going to explore two different ways of being mindful. Firstly, we're going to scan our bodies, and then secondly, we're going to follow our breath. Very simple ideas. The simplest ideas are always the best. So body scanning, is nothing more complicated than starting at the top of your head and moving down with your awareness through your body all the way to your feet. One body part at a time, eyes closed, sensing for whatever sensation is coming up inside your body in the place that you're seeking, in the place that you're watching. We'll do it with our eyes closed. You can lay down, which is lovely. You can also sit upright if that feels good to you. I have a timer. I'll be your timer of 3 minutes. So let's close our eyes and get started. The practice really is nothing more than bringing our awareness to the part of our body, for example, the forehead, and seeing what we can find, whether it's sensation or pulsing. Maybe there's an air conditioner in the room and you feel the air bristling across the cells of your forehead. Whatever sensation you might feel, with no judgment and no attempt to change that sensation, just simply be with it and then move to a different part of your body. One body part at a time, seeing what kind of feedback your physical body, which exists in the present moment, is sending to your brain, to your mind. I'll leave you be for the next 2 minutes to our own individual body scanning practice, and then I'll call you out of it when the 3 minutes are up. So that was 3 minutes. I feel quite different already. I also have some sensations in my body. My neck and shoulder are a bit tight. I'm not sure I was aware of that before. Can feel my heart rate in my chest. Not sure I was aware of that before. But this practice brings us back into our bodies and forces us to experience what we're actually experiencing. We'll take that same idea, but we'll modify it a little bit, and rather than scanning our bodies, we'll just simply watch our breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose seems to be the most kind of thoughtful way for breath work of this type. Same seated position or lying on your back, wherever you're more comfortable. Your eyes will be closed. We'll also do this for 3 minutes. And you're simply going to watch your breath. And it sounds like such a strange idea if you haven't done this before. But watching it means feeling it on the upper lip as it comes into your nose. It means having the sensation of the hairs on the inside of the nose as the wind bristles across them. Or maybe smelling the smells that are coming in on the wind or your air conditioner unit. Doesn't really matter. It's just about being present and being aware of something that's happening in the present moment, in this case, the breath. So the eyes are closed. 3-minute timer starts now. You start to breathe in thoughtfully in through the nose, feeling the breath perhaps as it enters in towards the lower belly and then fills into the sternum and up into the chest and shoulders. And on the reverse, it leaves the chest and shoulders and drops down to the diaphragm and finishes at the lower parts of the lungs. Naturally, your mind will wander. Your mind is designed to think and wander, but your breath practice is to bring your mind back to the sensation, the breath. So if and when the mind wanders, gently, carefully, kindly channel the mind back to following the breath, to counting the breath, to feeling the breath. Start to deepen your breath to bring yourself back if you started to drift off a little. Maybe open your eyes if they're still closed. So I feel more calm, and I wonder if you do too. And as you're more calm, you exist in the present moment. And as you're more calm, you're able to more thoughtfully respond rather than react. And so I ask you, are you the person with the cockroach, or are you able to be calm and thoughtful and considerate in the moment so you don't do anything to make things worse, and potentially you even do things to make things better? Mindfulness and a mindful practice is something that if you don't have in your life, you should definitely cultivate. Because strengthening that muscle of awareness, contemplativeness, and responsiveness will go a long way towards healing your relationships at home and at work. And if you ever want any help taking the ideas that we presented today a little farther. We have such a lovely group of people at MRC who are all doing this work because they want people to heal and they want people to grow. So I encourage you, if you feel alone or confused about how to take your current way of being into the future and be able to be more calm and more at ease and a better friend and partner to those around you, call in. This is what we do, and we love to help. It's why we're here. So thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you found it interesting, and more importantly, I hope you experienced what it felt like to go from wherever your mind was trying to keep you, right back into your heart, right back into the shelter of your heart. Thank you.